We're ready to get started. I'm haven't changed. I'm still Dr. Glasser. And I'm going to be the therapist in this role play. And I have Brandy Roth here. Brandy is going to role play. She has a practice in Beverly Hills for quite a while, and she's going to role play one of her clients. So Brandy will do it here. I'll be here. And we'll just get started. I think it's nice and quiet now, so we'll get started. Brandy, glad you came in today. Could you tell me a little bit how you got to me? Did you get referred, or how did it happen?
Well, I came, my friend said I'd better come and see you.
Uh-huh. So your friend knew about me?
My friend knew about you. You had really helped one of her friends.
Oh, okay. That's a good start. Anyway, now, what I start with, it's very simple. There's nothing for you to do except answer a few questions and say what's on your mind. Everyone that comes to me has some kind of a story, and I'd like to hear your story.
My story?
Yeah, there's something that around you or in your life or anything that your friend said you should see a counselor. So just kind of tell me a little bit about why you're here.
Well, I guess because my life has kind of changed.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's, I guess, kind of a surprise.
Changed, and it's a surprise.
I guess.
Well, explain it. I want to hear.
I'm married now, and to a really good guy, and I have a little boy, a little 2-year-old, and I used to work, and
What kind of work did you do?
I was a fashion designer.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm a full-time mom.
Uh-huh. And did you plan to become a full-time mom?
I don't know if we'd kind of thought about all those things,
But the baby came, and here you are, huh?
Yeah, I had a career. It seemed, my husband Brad he's got a great job, and he's head of a company, and he's doing well, and I was doing well, but I guess it was sort of, I was the obvious person to kind of take care of our son Brandon.
Uh-huh. And the baby's 2 years old now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's doing great.
Uh-huh. So the baby's doing fine, but you're a little bit, this transition has been, I guess the word sometimes is stressful or something like that.
Well, my friend said, you have to tell Dr. Glasser you're not doing very well. I'm not doing very well.
Could you describe the not very well?
Well, I'm not doing much at all.
Uh-huh. Well, you're not designing clothes right now.
No, I'm not. I'm not even thinking about that.
But you're wearing clothes.
Yeah.
You look at what you wear, you look in the mirror and everything, you look pretty good today.
Well, but it took a lot of effort to get just kind of up and out and here, and I don't think I would have come if my friend hadn't brought me.
Uh-huh. So
I'm not going out very much.
You stay mostly home? Do you have any help at home, or you take care of the baby?
Yeah, my husband got some help for me because he was kind of worried that he was just worried.
He saw you were kind of having some difficulties, huh?
Yeah.
Have you asked the little baby for some help?
No.
Well, they're 2 years old, pretty smart little kid. You could say, you can help mommy a little bit and things like that. You'd be surprised.
Well, what would I ask him to do?
I don't know. He's your baby. Ask him anything. He won't care. He'll love hearing from you.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, if he was 8 months old or 2 days, but 2 years old, well, I mean, you pretty much know what's going on at 2 years old.
Well, he depends on me. That's what I think. That's
Well,
what
yeah,
I'm
he's
worried
not
the
going to
most
take care
about.
of you, but he depends on you. That's right.
He really depends on me.
How do you-
I'm letting him down, I think.
How do you know he depends on you?
Well, he's this little beautiful 2-year-old. He needs my help. I'm even worried I don't even take him to preschool now. The nanny's taking him.
He's in preschool at 2?
Well, I wasn't doing much with him, so we thought maybe he should go. At least he goes 3 days a
You
week.
seem to like it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
So it's a
He's-
good choice, take him to preschool. And when he's at school, what do you do?
I'm just watching TV and reading. And I'm not doing much.
You went from a kind of a busy life to a different life. That's what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it's really different. I had a huge life. I was going to lunches. I was running. I was running that whole department.
Yeah.
It was going well.
Do the people from work still give you a call once in a while?
They do, but you know, we're doing really different things now.
Yeah.
There's someone there's an interim person in my department now, and she's doing fine. And I mean, they consult with me, but I don't have that same role that I had.
No, that's true. And you can't kind of easing your way into this new role, and it's not real easy, huh?
Well, I think I'm a good mom.
I'm sure you are.
I think
You
I
love the baby, and it's a beautiful baby.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
baby's even in nursery school, and at 2 years old, if he's in preschool and
Just-
he's happy there, that means you're a good mom. Because if you're not a good mom, they're very unhappy to leave you. He feels kind of secure, I guess.
Yeah, he cries sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I take him. No, the housekeeper doesn't take him all the time. I take him sometimes.
You drive the car over there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you do anything else? Like, you know, you have friends, for example. Do friends come in? I mean, there know any young mothers like yourself?
A few, not very many. Most of my friends are still working. Some of them, but I see a couple of my friends that, one of my friends, the friend that brought me here has a daughter, but most of my friends are still working.
And how about your parents? Are they involved at all?
Yeah, they're alive. They don't live nearby, but they're alive. And they're wonderful.
And your husband noticed that you weren't too happy, and he suggested the preschool and things like that.
Well, he just wanted something. He's really working hard. He's busy. He's not here very much, and he just wanted us to be happier.
Yeah,
He doesn't think I'm very happy.
yeah. How about, how much do you talk with him about this situation?
Well, he's not very available. He's not around. He's working really hard, and you know, he's supporting us now. We had two
Yeah.
incomes. Now we have one. I mean, we're doing okay, but it's still a big change. That's a change too.
Yeah, I guess, like you say, this is something happening, and you got to kind of learn about it, don't you?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you think I can do for you? Counselor, that's what I am.
Well, I don't know. I want to be sure I want to be sure I'm okay. I want to be sure I'm taking care of my son in the right way and being a good wife and
Yeah.
being
Well, I'm not going to make a big evaluation, but you seem okay to me. You're a little bit nervous about the situation, and that's normal.
well, I think I'm sad a lot of the time.
Cry a little bit?
I cry a lot.
And does anyone labeled what you are? I mean, have they called you anything? Or
Well, I saw my doctor.
yeah, what'd he say?
Well, he was kind of concerned. He thought, no, he talked about medicine.
Are you taking any medicine?
I have it.
You have it,
I have it.
but you haven't taken any yet.
No, he gave me some samples.
Okay. Well, samples are medicine too. I mean, the companies that make the medicine give it to him, and then he gives it out to people. And in your case, you're taking medicine for people that are sad and cry a lot and stuff like that, I suppose.
Well, he said it would help.
What?
He said it would help.
Now,
I'm thinking about it.
I'm a doctor also, and I could give you medicine, but I have never given any of that kind of medicine. It's called like psychological medicine. I don't give it. I talk to people, and I'd like to talk to you like I'm doing today and answer your questions and make some suggestions and things like that. Do you have any kind of a plan for getting along in this situation? Like, when you get up in the morning, are you just kind of just saying, well, I'll see what goes on today, or do you have maybe a little plan for the day?
Well, I don't really have a plan. I mean, the same thing happens every day. Brandon needs the same things every day, and I try to just you know, help him out, be there for him.
Yeah.
And what do you mean by plan?
Well, like at 2 years old, he goes to the school, but do you ever like say to yourself, gee, I wonder if Brandon and I, or maybe another woman, a little baby, we could all like go to the park, the weather's pretty good here, and let him play there and things like that? Because it's a plan, it's something you can do.
I am doing that sometimes, but I don't know, it's just so different from the other life I had. It's like boring.
Yeah,
And,
it is.
so sometimes I just send the housekeeper.
It was a exciting life, and you had a staff, and they depended upon you, and all of a sudden here you are with a little baby and a housekeeper, and you know.
I thought it would be different than this.
What did you think it was going to be?
I don't know. I guess I thought it. I don't know. I thought it would be more fun. Maybe I thought. I didn't know it would be this much hard work. It's a huge amount of work, and it's a different kind of work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you
it's
mentioned an
kind of
important
a
word, fun.
surprise.
In your previous life, you had fun.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
What did you do that was fun? Just tell me, that's all.
Well, I was really good at my work. I'm a designer, and
Yeah.
it-
It was
I-
fun to
I
design
loved it.
something,
Really
but then
fun.
people looked at it and liked it and all. That's fun, you know, to be appreciated and approved and all these things. And it is something that's kind of hard to get in this life, but maybe you could figure out some things that you could do with this life, which will be certainly different, but I like the word fun. I think we all need fun. I really do believe that. And what could you do with Brandon that you think would be fun? You have some help and things like that.
Well, maybe I could do more things with him. Maybe there's some projects or something that I should be doing with him.
Yeah. And you could kind of, talk to him. Do you talk to him much?
Yeah, I talk to him. I think I talk to him.
Yeah. I mean, you
Yeah.
enjoy talking with him a little bit? He's not like talking to colleagues at work, but
No, I love him very much.
yeah.
And I do love talking to him.
Oh, good, good.
You know, he's a lot of work, but no,
With the words that you're going to say to him don't come as easily as, say, the words at work and things like that. It's something, it's a learning process. And you don't have any choice but to learn it, but the thing is you can learn it more easily, and you're not learning it real easily right now, and that's why I'm talking with you.
I think that's the difference. I thought I would learn it easily. I thought, you know, I wanted this role. I thought I'd just be good at it. I thought I'd slip right into it. It's a surprise to me, I think.
Yeah, it's the big difference between the two. Brandon is kind of right there all the time, isn't he?
Yes.
And at work,
24/7.
yeah. He's not going to go to work with your husband or anything like that.
No.
And does your husband spend time with him?
Yes, but not very much. Not as much as he wanted. He thought
Yeah.
he'd spend more time with him.
Yeah.
But his hours are just huge.
Yeah.
And
But he has some time, maybe. Does he have like Sunday to spend with him or anything like that?
sometimes, yeah. His mom lives here, so sometimes he spends a lot of time on Sundays with her. Sometimes he takes Brandon, and they kind of go together.
He spends time with his mother.
Sometimes, yeah.
And what do you think about his mother? You can tell me, I don't tell anyone else. What do you think about her?
Well, she's okay. We're not real close, but we're not real close, but I like her. I think she likes me. I think
He's pretty close with her.
He's close with her. She loves her grandson. Loves him. That's the only grandson so far.
And were you ever very close to his mother?
Not really. I mean, we would have her over for dinner. She would come to dinner. We'd spend some time, but not real close. He lost his dad a few years ago, and
So she's without the husband, and how many children does she have?
just my husband. He's an
I
only
see.
child. But she's really busy. She's active.
I see,
She has a clubs and she plays cards. She has a nice life.
You're not the kind of person, she's not the kind of person you'd like to hang around with, is that right?
No, not very much.
Yeah.
I don't think so. We're pretty different, I think.
And
I mean, I do things with her, but not a lot.
I don't think you do many fun things with him, is that what you're saying?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I could do more. I don't know. Maybe that's something I should do.
Yeah, possibly. It might be hard, but it's just, see, there's several new things in your life right now. There's the baby is very, very new, and there's a mother-in-law who is kind of new also in this role as the grandmother and things like that. And you feel uncomfortable around her?
Well, she has her ways with Brandon, and she does a lot of disciplining of him and kind of, ordering him to do things, and I don't do that.
Yeah.
So I think we're kind of different in maybe the way we're going to parent, and I don't like that very much.
So this is something that you really, of course, you've never had a mother-in-law, grandmother before in your life, and probably you never thought about it.
Well, my parents aren't like that. I mean, they're not here, they're in another city, but when they come and visit, they're just kind of, they're like me, they're a little more easygoing, and so I guess that's another change for me, is sort of now somebody else is kind of having, I don't know, kind of bossing my son around.
And at work, you bossed people around, didn't you? But I'm not saying in a bad sense, but you were leadering at work now. And
Yeah. Well, I was the head of my department.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that went okay. I think I was well liked, and my designs were quite popular.
Yeah.
And I still make some suggestions, but I don't have as big a role because of this. I'm kind of on a hiatus.
Yeah.
I think I'll go back in a few years.
Yeah.
I have that chance.
Yeah, probably that will work out pretty well. But right now, you've got to kind of work things out a little bit. And seems to me, just what we talk about is between us and never goes anywhere else. It seems to me that right now, the mother-in-law who has lost her husband and is quite close to your son, and this is something you just have to kind of work on a little bit.
What do you mean, work on it?
Well, you're dissatisfied with the relationship between yourself and her, and yet she's not going to go away and you're not going to go away, so maybe you ought to figure out how to deal with her a little bit better.
You mean tell her, like, I don't like what she says to Brandon?
That's kind of what I'm saying, yeah, but do it in a way that she kind of, she looks at you and how you deal with him. And sometimes mothers-in-law are like that with an only child and everything. They kind of, when they look at you, they send a message that you're not very capable at what you're doing. Do you feel that?
I think she's really judgmental. I think she talks with my husband about it. And I think they don't include me in that. And she's got her ways, they have their ways. It's like I'm the odd person out.
Yeah. And that's what perhaps you and I could talk about, because you need some help in that role. It's a very difficult role.
Well, I try to talk to Brad about it, but he doesn't have a lot of time. He doesn't care much. I mean, I'm spending more time with his mom and the baby than I am with him and the baby.
And
What would I say to her? Her name is Grace. What would I say to Grace?
Grace is her
Yeah.
name, huh? That's a good thing. What would you like to say to Grace?
Well, I don't know. I think I'm not saying anything because I don't know the way I am now. I don't think I'd be very effective, so I don't say much.
But it's your not saying much that leads you to feel kind of not too effective.
Right.
Yeah, so it's kind of a thing that grows a little bit.
Well, I just want her to be, I don't know, less bossy. Just, I
How
want her to
often
be a
does she
little
actually
quieter.
come around?
Oh, she's coming quite a bit lately.
Uh-huh,
I think she thinks there's something wrong with me.
uh-huh. And there is something wrong with you.
There is?
Yeah.
What's wrong with me?
You're just a little overwhelmed by this situation. And she's taking advantage of it too. Kind of to say to her son, boy, if your mother was having this, we would do a lot better, you know, that kind of a thing. These things happen. People don't get along as well with each other as they would like to. It's a tough problem. That's why you're here to get some help.
I think getting along is, well, I have friends, I got along in life fine.
Yeah,
I
but
think
this is a different situation. This is a husband that works very hard. I'm sure he loves you and everything else, but he's in a certain sense, he's kind of a little bit turned you over to his mother. And you got to kind of deal with that. And
I guess I hadn't thought of it that way.
well, if I've made a mistake, tell me.
No, I just,
It's not an uncommon situation. And she kind of likes it a little bit, and you don't like it a lot. And there's some things you may have to do at home with her and even with your husband that could resemble some of the things you did at work when you were the head of the fashion department.
I don't see anything about this job like that.
Yeah, because everything went well on that job. But this is a new fashion department. And you're no longer the head of this new fashion department. And I think you kind of have to, they call it assert. I'm not big on asserting, but sometimes you're going to have to send her some kind of a message that this is a place where I'm learning, but I can learn pretty quick. And if she'd like to help you, that would be fine. And if she doesn't want to help you, then maybe she oughtn't to come so often. It would be a real different experience for her if you said, you know, I think I'm kind of feeling that you're around a little bit too much.
I'd really, if I told her that, oh, she would be so hurt. Oh she'd be so hurt.
Well, I think hurt is not exactly the right word. I think she'd be so angry.
You do?
Yes. I think she's probably not a stupid woman, and I think she already realizes she's overstepping her bounds, but she's using your kind of crying and other things which she knows about, even though she may not see you. He may tell her and things like that. You're vulnerable, and she's taking a little advantage of you. See, my job, as I see it, I'm on your side. You're my client, and I'm very much on your side. And anyone that hurts you is a kind of a sense hurting our relationship too. And I want to kind of convince you that we could do some real things together here and learn some stuff. Like, do you ever during the daytime have a feeling, gee, I don't know what to say in this situation? Did you ever think you could pick up the phone and call someone that knows you? Because I'm getting to know you pretty well already.
Well, I can call someone. I could do that.
Who would you call?
But I couldn't call my mother-in-law.
No,
you know,
not
this
her.
idea that
Oh.
I'm going to kind of tell her to stay away. I'm trying to think about that.
Oh, I'm
I don't
not
think
saying you do it immediately or
I
anything.
couldn't do that.
But you could think about it.
I'll think about
Because
it.
you're going to think about it whether you want to or not. You've been thinking about it.
It's true.
So I'm just suggesting that when you're in a little bit of a quandary, you can't call your doctor. That's not the kind of doctor you can call. The pediatrician will say the little baby is doing wonderfully. But I could be a person you could call. You don't have to run in here. Just say, Dr. Glasser, I got this little situation now and I'm having difficulty handling it. And sometimes I could kind of I give advice. Some
some counselors don't give advice. For some reason they don't, but I give advice. That's what I do. You're paying me and I'm going to give you some advice, but it's your job to decide whether or not the advice I give you is good advice. So what we could do is we could kind of plan a little bit ahead of time and see what's a situation where you might want to not tell her not to come around so much, but just tell her something and come across to her as someone who knows what I'm doing. Does she interfere with like your meals or anything
No,
like that?
but maybe we could go do something together.
Yeah.
Maybe if she just didn't come over and hang out, and I hate that because she sees me and I'm just hanging out in the house, and maybe we should go somewhere and do something together.
What would you
maybe,
like?
I
Maybe
don't
she'd
know.
even be better off in that. What do you suggest that they might do together?
Well, I don't know. There's something at the Science Museum that's kind of really fun, and for little kids, I think I should take Brandon to see that. And
Yeah.
I know it seemed like such a big effort. I haven't done it, but I thought about it. It's here still through this month. So I don't know. Maybe she'd go with that. She's real active. She'd maybe go with us.
Yeah, she's not an old woman or anything like that.
Well, she's older, but she's active. So maybe if we did that and we weren't just hanging around and she was, two people bossing my poor little boy, maybe that'd be better.
Yeah. And how would you approach her on that? We could just rehearse a little bit now.
Well, I could just call and say, Grace, I'm thinking of going to the museum to see this exhibit that I thought it's on dinosaurs and prehistoric animals, and I thought Brandon would really like that. He
Yeah, little
loves that
kids
stuff.
somehow or other like those kind of things,
Yeah.
even when they're real little. And
I'd just say, let's go. Okay, I'm gonna try and organize it, and let's go.
and
Maybe I should take one of my friend that came here.
Yeah.
She has a little girl. They're about the same age.
Go with your
We met
friend.
in a mommy meet, and we're best friends. So maybe she should go with us.
and if you asked your friend, she'd probably pretty much say yes.
Oh yeah, she loves me, that friend.
And
She'd go.
and how about going with your friend and enjoying yourself and not making this a kind of a mother-in-law? Don't include her.
Don't include
You
her.
could tell her you went with your friend and had a marvelous time, and maybe you could go several places with your friend, and then you could tell your mother-in-law what a good time you're having and how much fun it is to take your baby out with another mother with a baby. Because that would be the truth. And my father always taught me, I have a father, and he always taught me, he said, the best lie is the truth.
You don't think it'll hurt her?
Well, I'm not terribly worried about that. How much are you worried about it? Does this woman strike you as a very vulnerable individual?
I don't know. Now that I listen to you, I think maybe the vulnerable one is me.
I think so too, yeah. See, you're in a different situation. The only situations we're ever in, all of us in life, are situations with people. I mean, when you're designing clothes, the cloth never gives you any trouble or that kind of thing. It's the people. And people are tough to get along with. You know what people do? People that having difficulty, and you're having very kind of difficulty that's the most common kind. You kind of have a feeling, and I believe you're correct me if I'm wrong, that this woman kind of enjoys controlling things.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. She's a controlling person.
She's got
And if
one
she gets her own
son,
way,
she's
she's
controlled him.
Yeah. And maybe her son is kind of a little bit afraid of her too. Well, his father's gone now, and he feels certain things.
No.
Maybe he doesn't realize this is also possible. And the way she talks to him, it may be hard for him to find this out. But she doesn't realize that maybe she's trying to take a little control in your house. Now, you say he runs a business. He's not stupid or anything like that. He fights with issues of control all day long, and this one is right at home. And he probably doesn't even understand that it's there.
I think he doesn't.
He doesn't, yeah.
I think he doesn't.
So how to tell him would be not so much about that, but you could tell him, you know, I've been doing more things with my friends and not with your mother, and we're having a real good time. And that would be a way to kind of tell him in a certain sense that you're kind of taking control at home, which he would like.
I could do that, I think.
Yeah. Because is this difficult talking about this?
Well, I'm thinking that maybe this is a good idea.
Yeah.
I think I might be happier.
I think you
I
would
don't know.
be happier.
I think the situation got bigger than I realized.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just sort
It
of
kind
let
of crept up on you, and there it was, huh?
It did. I
Yeah.
let a lot of things go, and I'm kind of feeling bad about it now that I think about this. Do you think I should take this medicine that this doctor gave me?
Well, I'm a psychiatrist and I know a lot about medicine, and I think the medicine could harm you.
Harm me?
Yes, it could harm you. It frequently does. You don't want to get anything else in your brain. Your brain's got enough to do now without having to fight medicine.
Wow.
I mean, I feel obligated to tell you that. And if we get to see each other, I can give you a lot of information about that, because that's something I know a lot about. And I know a little bit about how your brain works, and your brain also, all of our brains tend to fight control. It's a very important way our brain works. When you were going to school, did you ever have a really controlling teacher?
Sure.
Yeah, there are plenty around, you know. But in school,
But you know, didn't your mom say, my mom always said that, you'll grow up and that'll be your best teacher. You'll remember her. She was your best teacher ever.
Well, that's a way of looking at it. Some tough teachers are good teachers, but being tough and being controlling are two very different things. Tough is good. Controlling, whenever you get in a relationship, when one person's trying to control another, that relationship is harmed. I'm sure you had a big staff at work, and you probably had to sort out things between people periodically too, I'm sure.
Yeah. But I'm pretty good at that. I was good at mediating between, you know, if
And now you got to sort things out at home. You got a husband, a mother-in-law, and a baby. That's the whole business right now. And you've a little lost control of the business, because generally in that situation, who kind of naturally assumes control? The husband, the mother-in-law, or the mother?
well,
It's you, isn't it?
I think this is really helpful.
And there's
Maybe I can get a little more back. I guess I stopped being a little bit.
Yeah, you let someone else run the business for a while and it didn't work. Yeah. Someone that was very happy to run it. And happy to tell another member of the business, your husband, I'm running it for a while. Don't worry, son, everything's going to be fine.
Oh,
So these are things that when you go to a counselor, these are the things you kind of learn. And it'll take us some time to learn it. And you read a lot anyway. And I have written a little book here. Very, very short book. 31 pages, big print. And if you would, and I'll give it to you, I don't sell the book. It costs me 42 cents. You know, it's no big deal. Now, between now and the next time we talk to each other, read this book carefully and kind of think of your life in terms of the things that I explain in the book. It's a lot easier to read a book and learn these things than for me to spend some. I've been explaining a lot to you, but you read the book. Can you read the title there? It's called?
Sure. Defining mental health as a public health problem.
Yeah, see, I think, you know, there is such a thing as mental health. And mental health is when you get along well with other people and you hold your own with them and you like them and everything, but you don't boss them and they don't boss you. It's the bossing that gets in the way of everything. And this will explain it very clearly.
Thank you.
Do you ever have a feeling that, you know, that you want to kind of tell, like your mother-in-law, keep quiet?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this will kind of explain how you deal with it. Just don't use the book until you have a chance to read it and talk it over with me. We could have a very good session on the book, and the book will introduce you in a kind of a new way to the parties that are running your book, your business. And the one party that's running part of the business, which we didn't mention, is very competent at it, and you don't have to worry about that party at all. That's the baby. He goes off to nursery school and he enjoys himself, and he's still,
Well, I think I better go with him more.
yeah. Well, you better do a lot of things with him or and with other people and create a nice life. It might turn out to be such a good life that you'll even have another baby and even delay the time of going back. This is a kind of different, because this is a business with the baby. You really own this business. You know, it's yours. And if you try to sell it, nobody will buy it. And yet it's a very important business. And you knew that when you were getting into it, but you didn't quite realize all the complications. And my job is to help with the complications. So will you read the book, and then
Sure.
you get free time? You could come almost any time. How about coming in about 3 or 4 days and spend another half hour, 45 minutes together, whatever it takes?
I just have to tell you, though, I'm not going to, I don't think I can do that idea of yours of telling Grace just not to come over.
No. We just talked about that.
I can't do that.
You might be able to send the message to Grace in a way that you'll pick it up without your actually saying it.
Okay.
There's ways to send messages to people. And one message you send to Grace, which I think you agree with, is, Grace, I'm pretty capable of taking care of this baby and going places and dealing with my husband without your help. You do it subtly, but the message gets in the air. And Grace, she has a life of her own. She has friends and other things. And to a certain extent, she'll feel, well, it's okay to kind of ease off a little bit. Life is kind of subtle, but reading this little booklet can help you a lot with understanding it and talking about it. It's called Putting Choice Theory to Work in Your Life. And choice theory is the theory of making better choices than you're making now. Okay?
Oh, I'm really grateful. I'm
Well,
grateful to my friend. I think this
Yeah.
I think this was a really good thing.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
great.
it's helped me a lot. Thanks.
Okay, well, I appreciate your coming in, and we'll have a little relationship for a while, see each other once a week and talk occasionally on the phone, and make even come a time when I'll ask you to read another book, but this is plenty to start with.
Well, I had reading time, that was for sure. So
Okay. All right.
Oh, thank you so
very
much.
Okay, I'm looking at the time, and we still have time, and
if it were the real situation, I might have taken a little longer, things like that. But generally when I counseled, I kind of went by the clock, but it didn't control me. There's an old saying that maybe I could tell you this. Margaret Mead, there's someone here that we used to work with Margaret Mead. I think it's Houston or someone like that. And I never knew Margaret Mead, but I heard stories about her. And she used to go to the islands of the South Seas there, and she'd live with the natives and things like that. And then, while they were talking about, she was saying to the natives, she mentioned to the natives that the natives had a little god there, and they consulted the god once in a while when they needed something to do. And Margaret Mead was talking and said to you consult this god quite a bit, and they said, well, we do, that's true, but not as much as you consult your god. And Margaret Mead said, our God? Yeah, he said, we just consult our God. You wear your God around your wrist and you consult him all the time. So, again, I like this God here, but he doesn't. I could just consult with him, that's all. I don't really let him control me in any way. So anyway, the thing is that Brandy was someone that I know Brandy, and asked her. I didn't know what she was going to do or what she was going to say. That was all up to her. Brandy, would you like to say anything about the role play? I think they'd like to hear from your standpoint too.
No, I mean, it was, I've done a number of role plays with you in my life, and each time it's just an odyssey of really getting insight into that person and being able to grow with a different way of thinking and a different way of looking at the situation and a different way of looking at options and choices. Okay. And I felt her just change and emerge and just go down a different road. It was lovely.
We teach, of course, the choice theory, and I'd say that the most effective and most important part of our teaching is the role playing. And people are always playing the role, playing it with each other, playing it with me, playing it with the other instructors. I mean, because let's face it, when we're born, we're committed to playing a role. And, there's sometimes, I've never met one, I met one once, people with multiple personalities, they sometimes take on several roles. I just had one once, that's all. And I said to her right off the bat, because she was ready to tell me about all the roles, I said, look, you're only paying for one, you only get one. and she said, I understand, I'll never bother you with that again. So she may have kept her roles with other people, but with me, the one role was sufficient. I mean, there's a lot of funny things that happen as you go through this life, and when you're a counselor, you run into an awful lot of them.
But role-playing a client, really, the practice role plays in the training in the William Glasser Institute actually has been so enriching. It is a different way of being empathic. It's a different way of kind of understanding what it must be like to be a client. I'm a psychologist. I'm secure in my role. I enjoy it. I'm a helping person, but the practice and it's a very interesting experience to be a client and to practice being the client.
We were very lucky. Carlene, my wife, who's here but doesn't get up this early. Carlene is a missile that takes a long time to get off the launching pad. So you have to be very careful.
Yes, but when she does, she's
a mighty
force.
She's looking good. So anyway, she lived all her life in Cincinnati, and I moved to Cincinnati and lived with her for a year while we turned a school there around together because she's a school person. And then when she had to move here, I was well aware that she had to find some friends here. And in no time at all, she found Brandy. I don't even know how she found you, but all of a sudden here was Brandy. And it's been a marvelous friendship. I'm very friendly with Brandy's husband, Bruce, who is one of the really I hate to say this, but Bruce is the smartest person in the world. He's got 2 or 3 brains up there, and it's unbelievable. And so we really enjoy each other's company. And that's what life is all about. It's relationships and good relationships and sharing yourself. Bruce knows the choice theory backwards and forwards. So, I mean, you don't have to tell Bruce a long time before he picks it up. He's what you call a quick study. So what we'd like to do now, perhaps, we still have a good 20 minutes or so. And I don't know if those microphones are in this room. So if someone wants to go to one of the microphones and...
They only have about 5 minutes. They have a break. We only had this 1 hour.
Oh, I thought, okay, well, maybe my watch is wrong. Oh, that's right. This is not till 9:20. That's the next time. So I apologize for that, and go to your next hour, and we'll be in
there's 2 questions.
2 questions, all right.
There's 2 questions here.
We'll hold for 2 questions. 2 questions, and then walk fast to wherever you're going. Go ahead. Yes. Yes.
No. We'll repeat your question.
It seems to me that the title of this conference, Treating a Severely Depressed Patient, is nothing like we really see in real life. But I call severe depressed patient somebody that's in and out of the hospital.
Well, the mic isn't working.
Yes. So her question is, if someone is more severely depressed, kind of how,
Hearing voices has made a lot of suicidal attempts. You can even connect with them because they are so psychotic. That's what I call severe depression. What you said is not at all what we see in clinical practice.
Okay,
The
okay.
message that I believe in sending all these nice therapies that medication is out of the question is really harmful, just like patch Adams. I believe this has become the world largest anti-psychopharmacology conference, and that's not part of the ways we're really harming people by doing this.
Well, it's certainly, I don't know.
that's
if it-
one, there's some many viewpoints. Yeah.
And unfortunately, we don't have time to discuss.
I don't know if it's an anti-pharmaceutical conference, but I'm certainly anti-pharmaceutical.
Oh, thanks.
Medications harm them, their brains.
That's correct.
When was the last time